Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good day. There we are. All right. Looks like we are ready to go for the day. It's Monday, start of a new week. We got Christmas this week, guys. So, yeah, Christmas. I look forward to Christmas this year. I usually do not. So, progress, right? Right. Cool. So it's been like the last week I haven't really been doing like the best, not necessarily bad, right? Today I get up and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. All right, you know what? Put on a fun shirt today. I almost did the unicorn, my Deadpool unicorn shirt. Because I just don't want to come on here and have things be down all the time, because I'm not that way. It just so happens in the mornings, that's when if it's going on, that's when it's happening. So I made a decision that I was going to have a good day despite myself or anything else going on. Right? We're allowed to do that. I'm not even going to try and figure out what's going wrong with me today. Nah. No, there's just too many other things that I think need to get done. And sometimes we need to make decisions and then kind of let them lie for a little bit and let God take care of it. Let God take care of some things by giving us direction and things like that, right? So yeah. But let's get to the reading. It's kind of an interesting reading today. So sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Most of you already know what it is that we're talking about. Partly, we're going to be talking partly about the spiritual experience, but something a little bit more. So, and I forgot that I was doing this all the time. If you're here, please say hi. See, I have all these banners and stuff that I just don't use. And say hello. Let me know that you're here. I love it I really do. I like it when people are talking in it. But let's get to the reading so that people have that opportunity, right? Each of us in the program can, in our own time and our own way, reach the triumphant spiritual awakening that is described in the 12th step. Every single one of us have a chance at that. And what you choose to do is up to you. But we say stick around, wait for the miracle to happen. That might come in different forms. Usually this is the miracle. I went to AA before and I didn't really want to, and and my intention was try to control my drinking or find some way to do this, and it turns out I ended up staying in AA. So you hear those things all the time. The spiritual awakening is a deep down knowledge that we are no longer alone and helpless. It is also a deep down awareness that we have learned certain truths which we cannot transmit to others so that perhaps they too can be helped. Morning, Kurt. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Happy holidays, man. Looks like things have been going really good for you, man. I am so happy for you. Man, you had a really good year, dude. I'm really happy for you. See, you guys, I keep track on you guys and what you're doing. Remember, I have all day. So I do like to see what's going on. And I've known Kirk for a long time. So that's it. That's what's cool. I'm coming up on 5 years, but I've been around this program for 30. So so I know a few people. What's really cool is a lot of those people are still here. Okay. And if they're not here, then they died sober, which is even, I don't want to say even cooler because I miss them, but am I keeping myself in constant readiness for a spiritual awakening, which is certain to come to me as I practice the steps and surrender my will to God's will? I'm not going to read from the spiritual experience. I'm actually going to read from working with others on this. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress, and you do that by this using the steps, right? If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things that which came to us, I'm going to restart that. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything that we could have planned. Morning, Brenda. I am. Thank you very much, honey, and thanks for being there last night. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. And you guys hear me say this. There's nothing better for me than watching somebody come from the trash heap. I'm going to quote this: the trash heap of life, as people call it. And there's nothing better when a guy calls me and says, "Hey, Dion, I just got a phone with my daughter, and I haven't talked to her in 5 years." I went through that too, so it's kind of. If you have been successful, when working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do, but urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects of characters are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are impatient, the blessed fact of his sobriety. So what I usually do is I allow a certain amount of time for that with a sponsee. A client, that's a different situation, but with a sponsee, I'm going to let them do it for a little bit. And I'm going to say, okay, don't you think we've kind of spent enough time on that? I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from because I've been there too. But this is a program about us, right? We're working on us, not your wife, right? And they'll usually turn around and be like, yeah, you're right, I am. But you got to let them bitch first, man. Or what you're going to have is a bunch of pent-up anger, and they're going to push you back when you bring that up if you don't do that part. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are impatient, the blessed fact of his sobriety. Yeah, that you're sober today. Gratitude. If you've been successful in solving your own domestic problems, tell the newcomer's family how that was accomplished. In this way, you can set them on the right track without becoming critical of them. The story of how you and your wife settled your difficulties is worth any amount of criticism. I have got to, especially you guys, because I'm a man and I have this and I have that, and I have a certain amount of testosterone that I must push upon other people. I can tell you now, every man that I've ever talked to wants the same thing. They want to settle down and have, maybe not necessarily have children, but to be with somebody, and they want to take care of them. Okay. It's a basic need, man. That is just being part of being human. So if you have successful relationships, I do this a lot because my wife and I have a very good relationship. So I will let people know how we did that. And it's a lot of work, guys. But And my wife and I haven't argued in years, and I couldn't even tell you the last argument we had. Assuming, right? We are spiritual fit. We can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to. Things that people say that we aren't supposed to do. People have said we must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our homes. We must shun friends who drink. We must avoid moving pictures which show drinking scenes. We must not go to bars. Our friends must hide their bottles if we go to their houses. We mustn't think or be reminded of alcohol at all. Our experience shows that this is not necessarily so, right? So this is where triggers come into, okay? We're on the 12th step, guys. Talking 12th step. So if you're newer in the program, the answer is no, okay? For now, stay away from it. You're not spiritually fit yet. You're not there yet, okay? So this is the way that's going to work, okay? In the beginning, God, can I have this? In the beginning, this is how it's going to work. God, is this right? No. Okay, is this right? No. Okay. Then we get a little bit more time. God, is this right? Not yet. Okay. And then we get further in the program. God, is this? Yes, it is. Yes, now it's good. Yes, yes. And then you're going to get to a point where it's like, okay, I got too many yeses. And you're going to have a different problem on your hands. But it's going to be a good problem to have. We meet these conditions every day. An alcoholic who cannot meet them still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with his spiritual status. His only chance for sobriety would be someplace like the Greenland ice cap. And even there, an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. Ask any woman who has sent her husband to distant places on the theory he would escape the alcohol problem. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. I went through this with my family. Then they were trying to protect me from certain things. And I told them, you need to let me handle it. Reason being is you need to give, the alcoholic needs to have the chance to succeed. And if you don't give him that chance, he's doomed. All right. So we do not shield ourselves from that. Why? Because we quit fighting it. We quit fighting everything and everyone. Remember? We did that back in step 2 and 3. If an alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts do the impossible. To do the impossible have always failed. I'd love to read the rest of this chapter, but we don't have time. So I'll read this next paragraph. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking if we have a legitimate reason for being there. That includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, and even plain ordinary whoopee parties. And I haven't been to a whoopee party in a long time. Has been the 70s for a long time. To a person who has had experience with an alcoholic, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. Why isn't it? Because we are free men. We are free men and women. And if we have a reason to be somewhere, whether alcohol is there or not, okay? If alcohol here, okay, let's just make it simple for us, right? If alcohol is a condition for you to go or not, you're not ready. There you go. Right? If it is not conditional, then you're a free man. Okay? That's how you can answer that question real quick. So, but once you get through those steps, man, I have a rule in the house. There's no alcohol allowed in the house. Okay? But I didn't set that rule for everybody else. I set that rule years ago so that I wouldn't, to help me quit drinking. And now I just stick by that. Because I got tired of having roommates and stuff that were constantly drinking all the time. Now I live with my brother-in-law, and I think he's had wine once. Uh, but, but what I love about living with my brother-in-law and my wife is we all have servant's hearts. So there's always something good going on around here. There's always somebody getting helped or something. It's just really cool. May I be steady, not expecting that my spiritual awakening will startle me like an alarm clock into sudden awareness of higher power. Yeah, probably not going to happen. I have found that usually people that grew up with more of a religious background tend to get it a little bit quicker. That's okay. All right. Because it's all the same in the end. So don't worry about it. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Good chance you may not even notice it. It may settle on me so quietly that I may not recognize precisely when my moment of awareness comes. The clue may come is in my desire to 12th step others. May I realize then that I have accepted the principles of the program and I'm at home in the spiritual transformation I feel in myself. So, do your thoughts go towards helping others or do they go towards the drink? That's a good another way to look at yourself to see where you're at. My spiritual awakening is my first private moment with God. Well, it was yours. That's it. That's it. I don't know. Everything I do with my higher power is pretty private. So, but that's a cool way to put it. I do understand it because you're not really feeling it before then. So it is your first private moment, gold moment. So, all right, guys, that'll be it for today. I'll be back tomorrow for daily reflection. Um, I have a pseudo kind of an interview at 11 about being a peer coach in the ERs. And I really would like to do something like that. I love wet drunks. I love them. I was heartbroken when I found out that I had to have a bachelor's degree to work at Detox when they were still around. They're not around anymore. So this is a good chance for me to get back in that field, that area. I love it. I do. I love it. I don't know why. And I love that situation, that whole area. I love the communication in that sense of a thing. That's why I'm having such a hard time being an independent contractor with other entities. I just don't feel the communications there yet. So, and I'm a pretty talky guy. I think you guys have figured out. So, all right. Have a good day, guys. I could use your prayers on that. Actually, just if you could pray for some direction for me, that would be awesome, right? That'd be awesome. So what happened? I faked it till I made it. And guess what, guys? I feel pretty damn happy. Thank you. I love you guys. Peace out and have a day.